What's up, everybody, and welcome to Growing Up Gaming, your weekly podcast where we meet a new person of the internet to discuss their childhood with gaming and how it inspired their lives today. My name is Mitch Power. Again, thank you guys so much for returning each and every week to the show. Hope you're subscribing there on iTunes or Google Play or Spotify or YouTube, which if you're checking me out on any of those methods out there, I greatly appreciate it. This week on the show, we have our guest. His name is Dunne. I met this man through the help of the Nintendo guru himself. He was nice enough to tag him in a post I put out there to try to get some guests. And me and Barry had a nice chat about growing up in Dublin and how crazy some games were back then and how amazing Pokemon was, which, by the way, if you don't think that, you might not like this episode. But if you do like Pokemon, like I hope a lot of you do out there, you'll have a good time reminiscing about this. If you guys want to be on the show just like he was and share your own gaming stories, go ahead and send me a tweet at MitchPower1116 on Twitter or at the podcast Twitter page, which is at GUG Podcast on Twitter. Without further ado, let's get things started with Barry Dunne. Do you remember what initially got you started playing games? Was it a family member? Was it a friend? Was it some kiosk you found at a store? Like, what originally got you started?
Yeah, so like I can remember to this day when I was 3 years old in one of my sitting rooms, my dad, he had gotten us a Super Nintendo, and the first game I ever played was Donkey Kong Country. You know, and to me, it's like my favorite Donkey Kong game to this day.
Yeah,
I just think it's much better than the new series. You know, the remake, the reboot.
There was. It's funny because Donkey Kong Country, like, that was also what's funny is that was one of those games where it was their attempt at like sorta 3D. Like it had that like claymation look, you know, but like for the 2D it still looked really cool. But I mean, that's still a pretty good first game to like get started. And you're 100% right. Like those new Donkey Kong games are considerably better. Or like those Donkey Kong games are much better than the newer ones. Like,
yeah,
I'm not saying Tropical Freeze is bad. It's weird because it's the type of game where like some people say it's trash, but then some people really like it. Like, I just don't get it. Like, it's weird to have games that are divided like that. But no, those old Donkey Kong Country games, I'm pretty sure everybody liked those. Like nobody, I don't remember too many people back then saying those games sucked.
Yeah. And like even Sean Capri will agree with me. He thinks the original trilogy, well, I guess the first two games are better than the new series.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the new series, like I said, the only one that I remember vividly playing was I played 64 just because like when I got my 64, it was the green one with, you know, the see-through green with Donkey Kong Country 64. And I remember getting it and liking it, but then like a lot of people later in life, like I heard, were just like, no, that game wasn't good. I'm like, are you sure? Like, it was fine. Like, I don't remember it being a problem.
Yeah, well, I guess playing it now, I actually played it. You know, I had this Donkey Kong week where I didn't tell anyone until I guess the day before. Like I told you beforehand, I had Grant Kirkhope and David Wise on the show, and I just played it for the channel, and it's so clunky, I guess, compared to now these days. But like it is actually a tough game, like playing the game.
Yeah, I was one of those. I was one of those kids that because that was like his only 64 game. That was the only 64 game I had for a while. So I actually did get every banana. Like I did everything in the game. Like I 100% of the game, which apparently like no one wanted to do. Like it wasn't a matter of like they didn't like to do it or they couldn't do it. It was just like nobody wanted to play the game long enough to do it or something. So I don't know. I had a good time with it, but yeah, I mean, with the Donkey Kong games specifically, that was the only game I remember spending a lot of time with, only because when I was younger, I actually didn't have a Super Nintendo. I had a Sega Genesis because I was stupid and I made poor choices in life. But no, like the you know, that was the one game that was the only thing that sucks is like when I only had like one friend who had a Super Nintendo. So when I would go over his house, it was mostly playing like the staples. You know what I mean? I don't remember him having Donkey Kong Country. I remember playing it, I believe at like a demo at like a store or something. But I remember he just had like the staples. He had like Mario World, which, dude, I could still play Mario World over and over to this day. Like that game is still fucking amazing. And, you know, Donkey Kong Country, I played like a little bit of, but then later on I played, you know, I think, did they ever release them again for GBA or anything? Like,
Game Boy Advance.
Yeah. So that's why I think I remember playing them later in life. I definitely didn't experience them in full when they were in the wild and everything. So, So then your dad was nice enough, though, got you a Super Nintendo. Like, were your parents, I'm not going to say into games, but did they play games, or were they kind of encouraging of any games or anything? Or were they kind of like, we'll just get this for you to keep you quiet?
I know. See, I can remember the console was there, but see, my dad was into kind of asteroids and stuff years ago. So like Atari stuff, like real old school arcade games. But like I can remember as well, my dad came home from Denmark, like when he was working there at the time, and he brought home like an N64. And like it was just crazy. Like, me, my brother, and my sister like just went up to the room, and we opened it, and it was just deadly, like playing Super Mario 64 for the first time.
Right.
But like I guess it's so magical now. I don't know, like the experience. Like I don't know about now, but like is the magic still there? Like opening like a new console, or does that go away with age, you think?
No. Because when I opened up my Xbox One X, I was like giddy as shit, dude. I was just like, oh, look at this thing. I guess it just depends on like, I mean, I don't, that's like the one thing. So here's the thing now is like, for example, in my eyes, midnight launches years ago used to be they used to be the shit. Like people would freak out, right? Like people would go to these midnight launches because I used to work at a couple different retailers, which I don't know if they had where you grew up, but I worked at a Game Crazy, which is similar to like a GameStop. It was just a dedicated game store. And then I worked at Best Buy, which is the biggest electronics retailer in the States.
Yeah.
Like, I worked at those retailers, and, like, midnight launches used to be fucking crazy. Like, they used to have, depending on the game, or if, like, more than one game came out on a certain day, it was nuts. You'd have 100 people there. You'd have all this, like, community, but it's different than the internet community. It's, like, local people who are obviously willing to get up, go to a store at midnight, and have that excitement over one thing, right?
Yeah.
So, it was so awesome to have that. The thing is now is that midnight launches, I'm not going to say are dead, but almost dead. Because now when digital happened, nobody has to get the fuck out of their house to get their game. Like, you can literally pre-download the game. And it's not even at midnight now. It's literally like based off the time you're in, it could show up earlier. Like where I am, it's 9 p.m. Thursday. Or 9 p.m. Monday. So it's like you actually get it early. Like you get it earlier than you would have back in the day if you sat in a store and waited till midnight, whatever that local time was. However, that midnight launch there is still there when it comes to a console. Yeah. That's the big thing I notice is that with a console, you can't pre-download a console. You have to get your ass up and you have to go to a store and you have to go get the console. But that was the thing. Like I went to a midnight launch for a game. I'm trying to remember what game it was. There was like 7 people there. And I was like, dude, this fucking sucks. And the only reason why I went there instead of doing it, like, for the most part, I still prefer games physically, but I had, like, a special edition, so I had to, like, it wasn't a digital thing, it was a physical thing. So I went to the store and got it. But, yeah, with games like that that's not there. But with consoles, it very much is still. So when I went for the Xbox One launch, again, it was that sense of like all of us being giddy, like, holy shit, this is a new console. Holy shit, this is awesome. And then same thing when the X came out. Like, and again, you're around people who are loving the exact same thing you are, and they're there for the exact same reason. So it's really cool. But like with new consoles, I still get that feeling. Even if it's like not a midnight launch, like when I got my Switch, I was like, dude, this is awesome. It's just new. Yeah. It's new. It's something new, especially with gaming, just because you're not stuck with, but you have like the same thing for 7 years, whatever it is. And then all of a sudden it's like, here's the next thing that's going to run Nintendo games for the next 5 to 6 years. And you're just like, oh shit, I cannot wait to play what's on this thing. So I think that giddiness is still there with consoles. Like I said, games now, people still get excited for games. Red Dead came out and everybody freaked the fuck out. Like nobody could shut up about it. But the thing is too, though, is like that, I think now, like, games more excitement now is more online rather than being in person. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you could still get that excitement. Games are cool, but everybody will just talk about it on the internet, how awesome it is. I worked a Call of Duty midnight launch. There was 125 people there. And we did a tournament beforehand. Like, there was like vendors that showed up and did cool things. Like none of those things happen anymore, dude, because not like so many people are just doing midnight launches basically from their couch now. So
yeah,
it's kind of sad. But no, I was the same way, dude. I got my Xbox One X. That was the latest console I got. No, yeah, that was the latest console I got. And dude, I couldn't shut the hell up, dude. I was just like, this is so awesome. I was so excited. I couldn't wait. I didn't do unboxings, but I definitely did the picture on Facebook and Twitter of like seat, buckling in the Xbox with the seatbelt, driving it home. Like it was just, you get all excited about those consoles. So there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Now I actually have a confession. Like I said, I have an Xbox One X, and I actually bought it this year to play my 4K Blu-rays, to play on my 4K TV.
That works, man. Hey.
Yeah, but I love it though, because I actually bought like games, before I got it, just like at the cheap if you get me, just when the value is there, and then buy the system.
No, I mean, there's nothing wrong. Dude, hey, guess what? Maybe Sony could take a page out of that and go, you bought that for a 4K Blu-ray player. Hey,
yeah,
Sony.
I know. Like, I don't get that. Me with a Pro, and not even a 4K, Blu-ray player inside the system. Like,
yeah,
ridiculous.
It's the craziest thing because Sony owns like a patent for Blu-ray, and you'd imagine they could put it in there for a fraction of a cost, and like it'd be so cheap for them to do it. Yet Microsoft's willing to pony up the license for a 4K Blu-ray player and all of that stuff. But yeah, dude, like I know people that it's funny because back then, which some people bought a PS2 because it played DVDs first. Like that was a way to like, hey, Mom, do you want to spend $400 on a console? Oh, this plays DVDs. This would be our DVD player. And they don't secretly know that, hey, this is what also I play games on. Sony's been really good about that, though, because they did it with PS2 and DVD players. They did it with PS3 and Blu-ray players. Why they didn't follow suit with the 4K and I get it in the original PlayStation 4, I get it, because that would have driven the costs up and blah, blah, blah. But, like, in the Pro, you didn't do it? Like...
Yeah.
Okay, but now that's like you bought an Xbox One X because of the 4K player, but like now you can get, an S for relatively cheap, and that has a 4K player in it. And I'm just it's just weird that Sony hasn't followed suit, and because that's a one weird thing that Xbox has over it. Like we play 4K Blu-rays, obviously you don't yet, but I have it. Like I said, I have a 4K TV. 4K Blu-rays look really nice. They look really nice, especially like the animated movies. They look, we were watching Incredibles 2 on 4K, and I was like, yeah, this is why I bought this. It's really nice.
Yeah.
So where did you grow up? Like where did you grow up when you were younger?
Okay, I guess maybe like a darker story, or it's a long story. Well, see, like if you don't know, I'm adopted from Romania.
Okay.
So, like, it's in Europe as well, but, like, I was adopted when I was 5 months old. And then, adopted by Irish parents. And then I've been playing games since I was 3 years old, like. And it's just, I guess, I had Super Nintendo, I had Sega Mega Drive, or Genesis, as you call it, in America. I guess grew up with Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance. I guess we had everything from, Nintendo and Sony, but the only... home Nintendo console I didn't own at the time was the GameCube, because we got a PS2
right
at the time. But then I went back to Nintendo with the Wii, and so like I've owned pretty much everything since then. Like
where you were growing up and everything, because here's the thing that's fascinating. So like obviously you grew up in Dublin. Like I obviously don't live there. I don't know anything like about the culture there and everything, especially around that time. Were video games like as popular, as accessible back then? Like were kids losing their shit about video games like they were in the States like around that time as well? I guess so, yeah, because like I remember like going to like a game shop, and like what was cool, like you can't do it now these days in Ireland, like actually being able to rent a game, for the N64 or for the PS1, like, and then bringing it back, hey, maybe we should buy it, or just like renting's great, because you have the option to play it for like so many days, whatever, blah, 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 and then bring it back. But I see it's kind of different now, 'cause like you said, the whole, like the digital age is here. Right.
But it's like everything, I guess we have grown up, to a point where it's like maybe not so many people would play games, that I grew up with. Right. Or do secretly, or I just don't know anymore. But like, I don't know. It's hard to tell because like Ireland isn't as big as it used to be for games. Well, unless you're, I guess, a Sony fan, or because it's kind of like FIFA, Call of Duty, or Battlefield is kind of the big games here in Ireland, I think, and Fortnite, of course. But
sure, yeah, Fortnite's big everywhere, even where they don't have like electricity. Fortnite's big. Like they don't give a shit. Like, everybody knows what Fortnite is. No, but so like, because that's the thing is that obviously gaming, as far as the culture goes, where I grew up, like a lot of kids played games. You know what I mean? A lot of kids had game consoles and stuff like that. I didn't grow up very well off, like as far as finances goes. Like my parents, I grew up, I'm not going to say poor, but definitely wasn't buying everything at launch and everything like that.
Yeah.
But also too, though, it was to a point where a lot of people that I knew had consoles. Like, I mean, the actual conversation around gaming was there a good amount of time. So I didn't know if like you had grown up in an area where people were like, no, yeah, games are definitely a normal part of life, and like a lot of people have game consoles, or if it was very niche, or if it was very like not too many people talked about it or anything like that.
Yeah. See, I guess like growing up, we grew up with Pokemon was kind of the big thing when we were younger. In school, playing with your Game Boy, bringing your cable lead like for trading Pokemon and battling and stuff.
Right.
Which is pretty cool, and having the trading cards as well, the battle cards.
Yeah.
Did you collect them at any chance? The blue ones in the first kind of...
Yeah, so I actually was really big into Pokemon. I played the shit out of Pokemon, and then I got to the point where I got into the trading card games. I actually helped work at a comic book shop that ran the Pokemon tournaments and stuff like that. So like the tournament for the card games and stuff. But no, yeah, Pokemon was very much a big deal for quite a while and everything. So that's the other thing too, that the good thing about Pokemon, which makes sense, is like Pokemon is such a social experience. Like one guy I had on the show mentioned how he wasn't into Pokemon that much because he didn't really have too many friends or anybody to interact with. And I'm like, yeah, that makes complete sense because Pokemon's fun, right? Obviously it's a fun game. But the more fun part of it is the social interaction, like finding other people who have the game, trading with them, battling with them, talking about like getting, that's the fun part of the game. If you had just Pokemon as a game without that aspect of it, I'm not saying it's bad, but it definitely doesn't have the same allure as like if you knew like 6 kids who played and you would trade and battle and do all this shit all the time. That game was way more fun. There's always games that are like that, right? There's games that you could play by yourself and they're cool, but playing with your boys and playing with your buddies and all that stuff is where it gets the most fun. Like the game is infinitely better once you get to a point where you can play with other people. But no, like Pokemon is like the perfect example of like the social game. And that's for the longest time why they didn't come out with a home version. They're like, hey guys, this is more meant to be like interactive and social, and you get out of the house and you go do shit, which, makes complete sense now with the Switch. That's completely doable for them to make that a happening. You know what I mean? Like now it makes sense for them to do that. But no, dude, I played the shit out of Pokemon. Like so I was definitely one of those kids. Were you the kid that had like a lot of Pokemon crap too? Like Pokemon like bed sheets or pillowcases or backpacks or did you ever have any of that other crazy shit like I did too?
Not really. It's just kind of the cards, and like to be honest, I think Pokemon Red is still probably the best Pokemon game to this day. Like the original. Like I'm not really a fan of the new games, to be honest.
Right. The new ones get way crazy. There's just a lot of shit in them now.
Yeah, see, there's too much, I think, in the game to do. And what I love about, the new Pokemon Let's Go, like I know it's kind of, it's like it's a bigger development of Pokemon Go, Pokemon Go for the mobile,
Right.
But like it's a remake of Yellow, that kind of the first kind of series that came out, like, which is amazing. And like it looks stunning, I think. Like I'm looking forward to picking up next week.
Yeah, that's the one game for whatever reason. I think because it's a extension of like Go, and I'm not saying Go is a bad game, but Go is definitely just it's a more basic type of game, right? It's a more casual game, which I'm not saying casual games are bad, because real quick, Pokemon Go shook the shit out of the world for a while. Like, I had never seen a game, especially a mobile game like that, make that kind of impact. Like, it got my kids out of the house, go walking around, which is amazing if you can get kids to do that shit now, because kids would rather sit down and play. But like, I went to the park, and it's funny because I actually have a picture of a guy, which is just ridiculous. Those like hoverboards, like, people, where they were awesome for like a year, and everybody and their fucking mother had one. There was a guy who was at the park, because there's this like lake at my park. It's like a man-made lake, but people can go there and fish, because I live in Arizona where there's not many lakes, or because it's a fucking desert. So they have to make these lakes and make fishing spots for people to go fishing. But at the local park that I have, they have this little like pond where they have fish and people can fish. But there's this like sidewalk that goes around the whole lake. And for Pokemon Go, it was like the greatest thing ever. There was like 10 Pokestops around this circle. So people would literally just get in this circle and just walk around the lake over and over and over, catching things, getting Pokestops and like all that stuff. And I knew it was crazy when I saw a dude on a hoverboard with 2 phones in his hands, just going in a circle over and over. And he, of course, he's lapping all of us because he's on a hoverboard and we're walking. But I remember taking a picture. I'm like, this is what Pokemon Go has done to people. Like, there's dudes on hoverboards with 2 phones in their hands, just not paying attention, just swinging his thumbs up in the sky, trying to get like Pokemon. But yeah, with the new that's also like the greatest mobile game for me as far as like concept. Like, that's what Pokemon was meant to do, is get you out of the house, go explore. And that's like the whole point. Like, your character in the game is like a kid going to explore and find monsters, and that game was, and I thought it was perfect. But when they announced like it was an extension of Go, I wasn't necessarily like upset about it. I was just like, that's cool. I'd rather have like a full experience, like what they have on the 3DS and stuff. I'd rather have something like that right now rather than Go. Like, I would say Go Plus, you know what I mean? Whatever, however you want to call it. It is definitely more than just Pokemon Go, but like the way you catch monsters is basically the same, like, as it is in Go, right? It's basically the same thing. But no, like they said, a full-fledged one's coming out next year, so I'm like, cool. But no, I'm right there with you though, where I think I would say Gold and Silver are probably better only because they started, I think that was like the extension of where they started to add cool things without going overboard. Like, because they added the day and night cycle, which I thought was fucking awesome. Like where you could, I think it was Gold and Silver, where they had literally like a internal clock in the game where like you would catch certain Pokemon better at night than you would day. So then there was an incentive to actually play the game in the daytime or at night. Like, that's where I was just like, wow, they're starting to get better with this. But it's still not to the point where, like, and now you can dress your Pokemon and have fashion shows and fucking fly them around and shit. I'm like, okay. I mean, I don't want to do any of those things. But I guess that's cool. So were you more into, or did you have, like, obviously you said you were adopted, but did you have siblings and everything growing up that would play games with you? Yeah, like, I have 2 brothers here and, and a sister. We all played games. Like Donkey Kong, we played Sonic as well. Sonic was a big one in our house, on the Mega Drive. Let's see, what else did we play? I guess PlayStation kind of took over. Like, I got a PlayStation 1 from my uncle for my communion. So I guess it's trying to think of American terms to put that. So would that be maybe a 3rd or 4th grade, if that makes any sense at all?
Right.
Kind of.
It's sort of like a holy thing.
Right.
And then, like, what games did we get? I'm trying to think. But it was like Gran Turismo. We got, GTA 1 years ago, even though we were too young, Ben.
I was going to say, like, GTA for that young of an age. I mean, the other thing, too, is that game, though, it wasn't the same Grand Theft Auto it is now. Like,
oh, no. Completely.
It was killing. Experience. It was running people over. It was running from cops. Like, it was that stuff. But also, too, it was, like, top down, so it wasn't, like, as graphically detailed, It was just like, hey, top down. Hey, shoot, bang, bang, yay, run away, whatever. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah. Like, even then, Time Crisis wasn't that bad,
Right. Yeah. Like, there's certain well, that's the thing, though, is, like, I always laugh at it now, but, like, parents lost their shit back in the day on, like, Night Trap and, like, these games that are ridiculous. And, like, Mortal Kombat, which makes sense, but also, too, at the time, that was the most realistic looking, like, graphics were so good, blah, blah, blah. But, like, now games really do look real, and that's where it's scarier. It's like, no, this game actually looks like real life in certain games, looks realer than ever. Now I would get why you would be upset if some super crazy shit happened in a realistic game like this, but like back in the day, for people to freak out over games like Night Trap or Mortal Kombat, like they still looked cartoony. Like, I never once like saw Kano rip out a heart of somebody and went to go do it. Like I just it was just weird to me. But now if moms are like, yeah, I don't want you playing that, I get it. As a parent, there's certain games that it's funny because America's so ass backwards. We hide things with like sexual stuff from people, but it's okay to shoot people in the face. You know what I mean? It's just weird. That's how it is here. But like for example, I have a 13-year-old. He'll be actually 13 on Friday, which it's the 10th, whatever. Anyways, he'll be 13, and there's certain games I'll let him play because he's mature enough and he knows. Like for a while there, I got weirded out. Like he would ask to play like a shooter, and I would ask him randomly, you know, this is fake, right? Like just making sure you're not a serial killer. Like, you know, this is fake, right? And he's like, yeah, I know, Dad. I'm like, all right, cool. But there's certain games that are just to the point where it's so realistic looking that I'm like, I don't know about this one yet. Example, Assassin's Creed. That's some next level. Like you taking a hidden blade and stabbing somebody up their face.
Yeah.
Like, let's hold off on that one just for a bit. Or he has to play Gears of War, and I laughed. I was like, you're fucking crazy. I'm not letting you play Gears of War. Like, no. Like, last time I checked, you can shotgun people into pieces. Like, you're not playing Gears of War. I'm sorry. Not yet. But he'll have to play games, you know. He'll have to play Halo. He'll have to play Fallout. He's nowhere touching Grand Theft Auto. Not at all. Red Dead, I haven't played it enough yet. I don't know if there's really much sexual stuff in there, but that's the only thing that's weird because, like I said, it's like I don't think there is.
No, it's just kind of shooting pretty much your gun and that's it. Like
that's what I figured. Yeah, I think it's just like more shooting the gun stuff, and you know, I think there might be some sexual references here and there, but nothing like crazy. But again, how stupid am I? I'm like, go ahead and shoot that guy in the face, but don't look at a titty. Like, don't do that. That's nobody wants to do that. So, actually,
Manhunt I used to play years ago when I was younger.
Oh my god.
Don't worry, I'm fine. No, but it's weird though. But like I don't want to do that stuff though.
No. Like Manhunt, dude. Oh my god, Manhunt was awesome.
Manhunt, a great game, and a Manhunt 2. See, the thing is, Manhunt 2 for a while was banned in Ireland. You know, like it didn't come out here. I actually bought it when I went to Orlando on the PSP over there. You know,
gotcha.
And then I actually got it for Wii. And what was cool with the Wii version, it was realistic, as in you could use your Wii remote to kind of, you know, do that with it.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I didn't even know it came out on Wii. That's crazy.
Yeah, it had like 3 exclusive weapons in the Wii version, yeah. And like you had to like hold your Wii remote kind of, you know, for like still so that you wouldn't move, or else it got you in the shadows kind of thing. But
wow.
But I guess the whole kind of what is it, Stephen Packer something case, whatever your man was called, you know what, the guy that was doing all the killings. Like I get, like I understand that, but like as you know, sorry, but like your country is fucked anyway.
Yeah, like it's crazy. Like man, dude, the fact that, and the other thing I didn't even think about that is like, there were certain games that you may not even had exposure to because they were just straight banned in your country. They were like, you're fucking crazy if you're going to put this in our country. No. Manhunt is like the epitome of like just brutal psycho people killing people. Like that's next level shit. I remember there was a couple games that were coming out around that time that were they're just trying to go over the top with how crazy brutal shit can get. And I remember like Manhunt being one. The Punisher, like the actual Punisher from the comic books. There was a game that came out for the PS2 and Xbox that like had executions, and it was like torture. Basically, it was like let's torture people and get information out of them. And again, dude, it was like how fucked up can you do things? Like how messed up can you be in a game? But dude, Manhunt's whole point of the game was like a dude hiring you to kill people. Like, you know, basically videotaping you killing people. And it's like, holy shit, man. I mean, it's like the equivalent of like a horror movie, basically. Like, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like the plot of like a horror movie. Somebody has you and they need you to kill people on film for them.
It's kind of funny because like the director in the first one wants you to kill these people, but he sent those people to kill you.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, it's just again, it sounds like a plot of a horror movie. It really does. It's like, you know, but dude, I forgot all about Manhunt. And again, what a shocker. Rockstar made that too. And the thing is now is like, again, back then, I'm not gonna say back then people didn't care as much, but like now, I don't know if you could do shit like that again. Like I really don't. I would say it's more. Well, a question: do games still get banned in Ireland and everything, like on a regular basis?
No, I think it was like only like see at the time it was banned for like a year or something, but it didn't come to Ireland for ages after. But no, like everything, like it's not as bad here as compared to the States, like big time. But like, doesn't Trump want to ban games with all like fucking guns and shit? Like,
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure he said some ridiculous shit like that, and then everybody in the industry went, "Yeah, that's real funny. We're not fucking doing that." Like, you can't. Like, for a while there, they tried. I remember. Well, there was legislation for games as far as this was more back earlier. Was them the whole reason there's a rating system is because like the government freaked out on games. Like there was politicians and shit losing their fucking minds over Mortal Kombat and like all these games.
Yeah.
So then like they came out with a rating system to try to help inform parents like, by the way, this game has next level shit your kid might not want to see or shouldn't.
That's
see.
fine.
Which is fine.
That's understandable.
Right? But then like there was certain things where there's certain politicians that are out there who will say like, oh, there shouldn't be guns in video games or whatever. And like, it lasts like, for some reason to me, it lasts like a day and then everybody's like, fuck off. Like nobody, we don't want to hear that shit. There's all these people like, yo, the worst is, and I feel awful, is like every time there's a shooting, which happens it should never happen, but it's happening so fucking often. It's ridiculous. But the first thing people will say is like, you get the people that are just like, in my opinion, people are fucking crazy. Yeah. Sorry. People are just crazy and they have access to things that should be harder to get. Not saying you can't have them, but they should be harder to get, especially if you're a fucking crazy person like the people that are doing all these things. But you get to a certain point where then you get the politicians who are so gun heavy that they'll just blame something else. Like, oh no, it's video games that are doing it. Like, like real quick, my 13-year-old son has been playing games where you shoot people for the longest time. And because I parent my kid and because I know my kid and I know how mature he is, he knows that this is wrong because I've told him for his entire life not to hurt a person. Yeah. Sorry. Like video games, like violent video games do not make you a violent person. Now, what sucks is, do these people play violent video games? Maybe, because some games are popular. You know what I mean? Like, the first game that everybody would go to would be, like, Call of Duty. And, like, oh, the shooter, he played Call of Duty. Well, fucking millions of people play Call of Duty. Like, I'm sorry he happened to be one of them as well. Yeah. But how many of the millions of copies of Call of Duty get sold and how many people go around killing people? Not many. Sorry. Like, the odds of it are very slim. But then there's certain missions, which I get the reason why they do it, but the story, like, for example, the No Russian mission in Modern Warfare 2 is fucked. Like, it's really fucked up. Like, it's really fucked up. And I know it's fucked up when in the game it tells you there is a mission that's really fucked up. Are you sure you want to play it?
I want to play it,
Yeah, you sure you want to play it? And I remember, like, of course, like, the thing is like, when you say that, part of your brain goes, well, yeah, I kind of want to see what that's about. Like, you obviously have enough of a disclosure to, like, what is this about? And I remember playing it, and I remember when you come off the elevator, and it's like...
straight away in for the kill, like,
and literally. It's just like... And I remember doing it, and I was like, I played it, but it was definitely one of those missions. I was like, this is really fucked up. Like, this is, like, in a game. And again, as soon as I knew that was a thing, I was like... Every time there's a shooting and every time a politician wants to say it's video games, this is the mission that's going to show up and be like, this is what they're teaching kids. I'm like, no, it's not. I mean, that mission's fucking,
Look, I'll tell you this, right? I've had, like, well, maybe arguments or disagreements with people like in your country about, like this whole thing of, like, I get that freedom of speech, all this, like, whatever crap, like, but if no one had a gun in America, there'd be no fucking problem at all.
True. I mean, for me, the thing is, like, I'm right there with you. Like, it's weird because the problem is when you have a country of hundreds of millions of people, you're not going to make everybody happy. That's
I understand that, but I mean, like no guns is no fucking problem then. Like, you have no one that's going to kill anyone with a gun. So there's your problem solved. I know it's not as easy, but
no, yeah, I think the only problem now is that there's so many of them out there. If you just said no, we can't have them, like that's not going to happen. And I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. I'm just saying like it's a really hard situation. It's really rough. And again, like the problem is like if you feel like you should have guns, cool. If you feel like you shouldn't have guns, cool. I'm one of those people where I would rather, like I said, there should be certain guidelines around it, to get a gun and stuff like that. For me, it's just really, because for example, there are people I know who own guns and they're not crazy people, right? Yeah. Like they're not bad people. I don't think you should not have one, but I think like the access to one should be a lot harder. Like it should be way fucking hard to get a gun. Like you should have to go through a lot to get a gun. You have to do a lot to get a driver's license. Yeah. You have to do less to get a gun. And that's kind of crazy. But the only problem is now is like you get those weirdos that are just like, Second Amendment, I have the right to protect myself. I'm like, yeah, when you were back in the day when wars were happening and you live in
but like there's nothing happening now.
Yeah, you live in a country where you're in the middle of nowhere where a fucking bear might take your face. Sure. Yeah, have a gun then, but real quick, you live in the middle of like LA. You need a gun? Like, last time I checked, there's 7 Starbucks on each corner. What the fuck do you need a gun for right now? Like, what are we talking about? No, but I mean, the worst part is that people will say video games are the problem, which is fucking absurd. Cause like, I think, you know what it is though, honestly, and I'm not gonna say this is the problem, but I think the internet has just made it far more accessible to hear about crazy shit. So that's a big thing. But also too, we not glorify, but we make a big deal when shootings happen. So people want to get attention and do it. And it's fucking tragic and it's terrible. And I hate every time, like, because it's happening way too often. But people will blame video games, but people have also blamed video games for violence for a long time. People said Doom made people violent. I don't know about that. Like, the worst, I think honestly, the funniest thing is like, I think the worst one, or not the worst, is when it first started was in Columbine. When that happened a long time ago, when they said, rock music and Doom made these people kill all their, I'm like, yeah, cause fucking last time I checked, Marilyn Manson and Doom made you kill people. Yeah. Fuck out of here. It's just,
I don't know. No, here, this may sound funny, but this might change your perception on Mario. Like, what's the difference in, like Mario jumping, and stomping on a fucking Goomba compared to someone with a gun? It's true.
Right. Like, you make complete sense. Yeah. I mean, again, there's always been, it's funny. Think about it that way. There's always violence in video games. Mario jumped on people's heads. If I jumped on a dude's head, that'd be a fucking problem.
Yeah, and like breaking buildings, like breaking the brick, like you're destroying property. What are you doing? Like
Mario's a felon, man. Mario's just destruction of private property, fucking assault and battery, lighting people on fire and shit. Like he's just, man, Mario's a felon. That's what we learned from this. That how Mario's just a criminal.
There you go.
Yeah. No, I mean, the thing is though, is like, there's always, I think it just got to the point when like, the violence just became realistic. Cause like, it's always like cartoon violence. Yay. I mean, dude, if you look at, the funny thing is, look at like Bugs Bunny back in the day and look at Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner. Like Roadrunner was committing like assaults and, attempted murder on the Coyote back in the day. But I mean, again, that was like cartoon violence. It was fun. But now, I think, it's so funny that you mentioned Mario was jumping on people's heads because he was flat.
I know. I'm just trying to make change your mind on it. Like just like
it makes
it's
sense.
Funny, but like it's true.
No, it's really true. But again, like that's. I mean, most video games out there, unless it's a sports game, like most video games out there have some sort of like. I'm not gonna say conflict or violence, but I mean also to the certain degree of violence. I mean, Mario's still jumping on people's heads.
Yeah.
Real quick. Like, but again, like I never once saw him do that and go, I'm going to go jump on people's heads now. Like no one said that. But no, I mean, I will say though, I'm jealous that Mario was able to get a tail and fly because that shit's cool. Like I wish I could fly. Who the fuck doesn't wish they could fly? But but he's a felon, man. He had to run away from the law, and when they were trying to chase him, he had to fly away. That's what happened. So to kind of go back, so like you obviously were growing up, you had pretty much access to majority of the consoles from what I'm hearing. Like you didn't have a situation where you didn't have many, it sounds like you had options and everything. So as you're growing up, like I said, so your parents got you all these things, but were they kind of cool with you playing it, or did they ever get to a situation where they're like, all right, you're playing too much, you need to get out of the house and do other shit, or did you actually like do other things as a kid besides play games?
Yeah. No, but like I never once had trouble. Like they never, said, oh, like you can't play that, or like you're too young or something. But like I always had the option to go out and play with friends, just like go out and play like a game of soccer or football.
Sure.
Or like even go like go outside and just hang out, or just like watch a movie or something. I guess it's like it's a lot different now, as you know,
right?
How life is compared to 20 years ago.
Yeah.
No,
it's completely different because like for example, there are some parents out there who were very much against video games, right? They got it for you because it's something you wanted, but they would be like, no, you should be out doing something else. Like you shouldn't be inside playing games all day. And some kids out there, like me, for example, I did well in school. I had friends as well. So my parents never got to that point where they were like, you need to get out of the house and do other shit, right? They were just like, as long as you have good grades, they really didn't care. They were just like, you're doing well in school. Like, how can I get mad at you for that?
Yeah.
But then you get those parents
like
that
I
push
have
their
like other hobbies as well, outside
right.
games. So like I play music, like years ago, I playing the piano, accordion, but like I do stage stuff as well. So, and like I'm doing that since I was 9 years old, theater. Nice. So I'm always kept busy with that there, like.
Right. So, I mean, at least, like I said, your parents it was just like it wasn't your only hobby. It was just another one of your hobbies. So that's cool though. Cause like I said, I mean, at least your parents, they didn't see it as like a bad thing. They were just like, oh, it's just one of the things he does.
Yeah.
That's cool. There's nothing wrong with that and everything. Like I said, there was parents out there though who straight were just like, you shouldn't be playing games. You should be outside having fun. And then obviously there was kids out there who gaming was their number one thing and they didn't go outside and do things. But yeah, like you said, now things are completely different because, and my wife doesn't really, I'm not gonna say she doesn't understand it, but I'm trying to explain like my son now, like back in the day, my going out was leaving my house, going to a buddy's house and playing games at their house together. Right. Mm. That was one of my things that I did quite a bit. Granted, I was leaving the house and going to other people's houses. That is now done online, period. Like, you just sitting in your own house, on your headset, talking to your buddies, playing games. That's your social interaction now. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you still can't go to other people's homes, but like, especially around gaming, where now more and more games are getting away from couch co-op and more into online. There's not even an option. Like, if you go to your buddy's house to try to play a game with him together, it may not even be an option anymore. You know what I mean? So now it's like online, she's like, you need to talk, she's like worried. My son doesn't have any friends. I'm like, no, he has friends. They're just, he's talking to them online and stuff. He sees them at school and stuff, but he doesn't go over their house much. He doesn't really, he gets out of the house and like still goes and goes to the park and plays and does things like that. But I'm like, now his interaction is playing games with his friends in his room, just because that welcome to the internet that's made that possible. Like, that wasn't an option when we were a kid. If it was an option when I was a kid, I would be doing the exact same thing my son's doing. I'd be like, no, I'm hanging out at my house. Like, why would I want to leave? Like, especially where I grew up, and especially like where you grew up too, where it like the winters suck. Like, it's fucking cold and it snows. Like, I'm not going to want to leave my house when I can have the option of staying here.
But see, that's the thing about Nintendo. What they do is, like, I know Nintendo get a lot of slack, and like I understand that, from a gamer's perspective, but I guess like their online is terrible, But what's great about Nintendo is they do have the local co-op as well, like split screen. You've like playing games like Mario Kart, GoldenEye, even Crash Tag Team Racing or something. It's amazing the fact that you can play 4 players in one system in the same room and have a laugh, You can't do that nowadays, really, that much, to be honest.
Right, and that's kind of the thing for me, is that I lately, I've actually really enjoyed couch co-op lately with my wife. Like, we've been playing games like Overcooked, Death Squared, Snipper Clips. Like, we've been playing games locally together, and it's been amazing. Like, I've been having so much fun playing in the same room with my wife. Whereas now, like you said, and that's one thing you said, though, is that Nintendo, to this day, is still that system that pushes like local multiplayer and stuff like that, which is great. Yeah. Hopefully they figure out their online shit, because like they need to realize that the internet is a big deal, and like they need to realize it sooner than later. Just because like now, like the whole Nintendo Online thing is so bizarre to me because it's like now you're paying for online, which I haven't yet. I plan to, but I just haven't done it yet just because the only game I was playing online on my Switch was Fortnite. Like my daughter,
and it's free.
Yeah, exactly. And it's free and you don't have to pay for the online part of it. My daughter officially got bummed out the other day when she tried to play Splatoon 2. And she's like, Dad, what's this? I'm like, yeah, they make you pay for online now. And her face got sad as shit. She's like, oh. And she just like walked away. She's like, I'll find something else to play. But no, like the local aspect of Nintendo is great. My wife and I played Mario Party the other day. It was fun as hell. It was a blast. Here's what's ass backwards. There's no option to play that online. Like, there's an option to play Mario Party online, but just the mini games.
Yeah,
not
mini
a
games.
full-blown game. Why? Like, what are you talking about? Because like my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law, they live 1,700 miles away, and we used to play Mario Party all the time. Me, my wife, and them two. We would play 4-player Mario Party all the fucking time, and we had a blast. And I was so jazzed to get Mario Party for the Switch. I was like, cool, we're going to play some stuff again. And then eventually I go online, I started reading online that like, it's just mini games online. I'm like, why is Nintendo not figured out that like, let's play the whole damn game online, not just mini games. Like, they're still a little weird with it, but they are the kings of like local co-op stuff. Cause again, like some games, they don't have the option because like they're too, I'm not going to say they try too hard, but in a way they do. Like the new games, for example, like Call of Duty Black Ops 4 or something, you know, like these newer games that are running 4K and 60 frames and all that shit. A lot of them aren't doing couch co-op because it's like telling the system to run that twice is fucking chaos.
Yeah.
Like that's nuts. That's really hard to do. So it makes sense. I know a lot of people lost their complete minds when Halo 5 came out and didn't have couch co-op. Like people got fucking pissed because every other Halo game before that had couch co-op, and that was a big deal for people to do couch co-op, legendary campaign, and on 5 you couldn't do it. Now they're saying like they kind of admitted it. They were like, we fucked that up. Sorry, 6 will have it. We'll figure it out. Like we'll make sure it has it or whatever. But no, like couch co-op is still a big deal for certain people. And like I said, I've had a blast with my wife playing games, but also Nintendo though. Thank you for being still cool with like local 4-player co-op, and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe looks fantastic and it still runs great in 4 players. Thank you. Please figure out your online shit though. Like please. Please. It's not good. Like it's really just I just get sad like, and this is more of the Wii U stuff when Mario Kart 7 when I was playing that, or no, 8 on Wii U, and I remember playing it and the online part of it, you can only chat in the lobbies. Yeah,
which is pretty much crap. Like
I was like, I want to talk shit to my friends as I'm racing them. Like, I love, like, again, like, and this is exactly what I would do when we were together. Like, when I was a kid and you were playing games, you would tell the person next to you how much they suck at the game, and it was just you breaking each other's balls, and it's fun. But when I have to wait till the end of the match to do it, I'm like, this is bullshit. Like, I'm not going to remember what I did to you throughout the game. I'm not going to go, hey, remember when I hit you with that shell? Yeah. No, I want to say that as I'm doing it, Nintendo. How is this not a thing? So it's ass backwards because now, like, other games, it was the opposite. You couldn't talk in the lobbies, and then you got in the game and could talk, but they decided to swap it, so I never understood that.
Or switch it, in that case.
Yeah, exactly. Like, thanks, guys. And now you can talk on the internet with a phone.
The app it's the most rubbish thing. It's Nintendo's bullshit ways. Because look, like, check out Fortnite. You can chat literally in the bloody game itself.
In the game.
What the fuck's going on there? Like,
in the game.
Nintendo with their shitty excuse, like, you can do it, no problem. They just don't want to do it.
Yeah. No, dude, it's just funny, because like you said, like, that was the best part is when Fortnite figured it out and everybody's like, time out. Nintendo said this was hard. And Fortnite's like, the fuck are you talking about? We got to figure it out. We got this. What are you talking about? Like, I just love that. Like, how a company, like, sometimes that happens, though, where companies just go, crossplay is impossible. Crossplay is so hard to do. And then a company like Rocket League, who employs, like, 80 people or something, is like, we got to figure it out, and we can hit a button and make it work in a day. And everybody's like, wait, what? What are you talking about? And now all of a sudden people can do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, you can't have a third-party game show up on your console and do what you say you can't. Like, you can't fucking do that. Like, Nintendo's like, oh, we can't do that. And we did on your system, so it is what it is. So, was there ever a point in time when gaming wasn't a part of your life? Like, was there a point in time where you, like, dropped games completely and just was like, you had obviously other obligations going on or anything?
No, like, it was always there, but, you know, like I said, other hobbies as well, but, like, it was always a point in my life. But, like, even, like, doing YouTube, you know, I guess kind of it got bigger, you know, because my main focus is gaming on YouTube. But, like, it's like, oh, I have to check this out, you know, and, you know, maybe get early hands-on of this game here and there, you know, but, no, it's always been there, and, like, I love, you know, gaming, how much it's changed, like, for me, like Super Mario Galaxy, maybe, I don't know, maybe, well, like, I love 1 and 2, but maybe 1 is just a better experience overall, the most amazing game I've ever played in my life. Like, it's probably the greatest game I ever played.
Yeah, Galaxy 1 felt like 64 vibes, you know, Mario 64 vibes, like, it felt like new, and I was just like, holy shit. And I remember, like, that was why I was like, that was one of those games when I had it, I was like, this is why I own a Wii. Because at the time, Nintendo didn't seem to give a shit about the actual hardcore Nintendo fans that bought their shit beforehand, you know? Like, obviously
Wii Fit.
Fucking Wii Fit. Dude, when those new systems came out, 360, PS3, Wii, right?
Yeah.
Initially, I was very much like, I'm getting a Wii first because my wife was into Mario Party. My wife was into WarioWare. And I was like thinking about just playing games with my wife at the time. So I was like, I'm going to get a Wii. And then I remember getting a Wii. I was one of those assholes that called everybody every goddamn day asking if they had a Wii. And I was one of those annoying people. Finally got one. Zelda, Twilight Princess, awesome game. Not shitting on that. People shit on it. I don't get why.
I think it's story-wise, I don't know, it looks beautiful because I guess it's so realistic looking.
Sure.
And it's like, I'm not a Zelda fan, but Twilight Princess was the first Zelda game I guess fell in love with.
Right. It's a good game. Like,
yeah, it is.
Everybody has. Well, the problem is with Zelda fans is like, Zelda fans are very stuck on like one game. Like, this is their favorite, and if you don't like that, go fuck yourself. Like, you get those people that are straight like, Majora's Mask is the greatest one ever, and if you say anything else is the better one, fuck you. And I'm like, guys, it's Zelda.
I think Ocarina of Time, I'm sorry, but is overrated big time.
So you just pissed off a bunch of people.
I know. I don't care. I think it's overrated. It's. I played it years ago, and I just thought it was a horrible game to play. I didn't like it at all.
See, there's people listening to this podcast right now that are literally in their car or their headphones in their head going, yeah, that's right. Fuck Ocarina of Time. And then there's people like, are you out of your mind? I'm not listening to this guy anymore.
It's awful. Like, even, like, I'm not into the N64 Zelda games at all.
Right.
Maybe it's the art style, if you get me, if that makes any sense.
No, yeah. I mean, again, it's just the era that you grew. Like, for example, Breath of the Wild I thought was awesome.
It's an amazing game. Holy shit.
It's an amazing game. Here's my thing. That story of the game, the fuck? Like, it's weird. Like, I'm sorry. It's just the story of it. Like, for example, like, when I was watching, trying to pay attention to the story, and I'm like, okay, like, I guess I get what's going on. It's just weird, right? However, the gameplay of that game is ridiculous. Like, it's ridiculous. It's such a good game. It's so good. And they did such a good job. And the way they designed, like, how the like, just everything about the game as far as the gameplay aspect of it was fantastic. But then the story was weird. But then you get other people that are like, this game is better because the story is better. And you get, everybody's going to have their favorite game. Twilight Princess, for some reason, when people shit on it, I don't get it. I was like, I thought the game was cool. Like, I didn't think it was bad at all. But, again, Zelda fans have one. Each of them have one. That's like, this is my game. Link to the Past is the best one. Okay.
I thought Skyward Sword sucks big time. It was awful.
Dude, the worst part is, and I've called him up before, Jose Otero, who used to work at IGN.
Yeah.
I'm sure a very lovely man. I'm sure he's a very nice guy. I'm sure if I met him, I'd be like, he's a good guy. That guy will never shit on a Nintendo game ever. I'm sorry. He works at Nintendo now.
Oh, I know that.
Not going to say that's a correlation or anything, but he gave Skyward Sword a 10.
It's awful.
And I'm like, dude, please go back and tell me that's how is that a 10? But again, it's like every time he reviewed it, if I looked at IGN's Nintendo review and it was Jose Otero, I was just like, all right, I'm going to go find some other review because he's not going to say anything bad about it. But yeah, like certain Zelda games are fun. But anyways, I got WarioWare for the Wii, and then like after that, there was like nothing for the longest time.
Yeah.
And then they started focusing, and I get like how Wii Sports made everyone buy a Wii. I get it. Like, old people, new people, young people, like people who didn't play games. Like, I get it how that was that. But then as soon as Nintendo heard, oh shit, casual games like this are getting everybody to buy it, let's just go nuts on the casual shit. And then that's where I was like, okay, like, where's a Mario? Where's a Metroid? Where's all these games that, like, Nintendo fans lost their shit over when they were younger? And then, you know, when Galaxy came out, that was definitely the one. I was like, okay, this is definitely the best game on the console. Like, this game is phenomenal. This game is literally bringing back Mario 64 vibes for me of, like, how new it was and just, like, graphically at the time, it was obviously the best looking Mario game, but just...
Oh, like, it's so impressive to this day, I think.
Exactly.
Like compare those graphics to Mario 3D World on Wii U.
Yeah.
They're nearly on par with it.
Yeah, and it's really good.
The Wii is a 480p system, like.
Right. Like, no, like, Mario, imagine if they did, like, an HD remake of that, like...
I've been dying for years for Wii U, and for Switch, like, Switch is even a better platform for Mario Galaxy.
Yeah.
You know, with the Joy-Cons. It's like, fucking release already, you know.
Dude, give Nintendo 2 years, they'll release it. It'll be some, like, 10-year anniversary or some shit. They'll release it. They
but, like, it's funny because they're releasing, they have released, Twilight Princess and Galaxy over in China on the NVIDIA Shield.
Really?
But I'm guessing it's like they released it, a few months ago, but I'm guessing it's a test to see, like, it's a HD upscale.
Yeah.
It's a test to see how well, will it work on NVIDIA's, because NVIDIA, pretty much done the Switch, like, it's their kind of graphics.
Architecture for the Switch, right?
Yeah, it's nearly identical. So I'm guessing, is it a test there to see would it work on Switch? Get it running?
Right. I mean, they could easily do that, though. I mean, Nintendo's they did Twilight Princess on HD remake. Like, they could do it.
Just fucking port it over. I'm sure you can do it, like...
That's what I'm saying. Like, Nintendo, I mean, here's the thing. I'll give Nintendo credit for is the Wii U, as far as a console goes, was not my favorite. Let's just say that.
Okay.
I will say it had good games, but they literally just nobody gave a shit about the console, period. Like, let me rephrase it. Third-party people seriously did not care about it. Like, all these games that were like, the launch for the Wii U was like, not really much, but then it was a lot of like ports from like 360 games that were like cool because they had the the touchpad elements to it and stuff. But like when Watch Dogs got announced and then like a year later it came out for the Wii U, and you're like, the fuck are you guys even doing? Like EA didn't give a shit about that console like at all.
Oh yeah, so Battlefield was meant to come out and it didn't. Yeah,
like there were so many things that were like supposed to come out and just never did, and it sucks because there were good games on it. And it's just like, they were stuck on a console that not a lot of people bought. But then as soon as the Switch came out, and they were basically like, hey, this is our shot again to take those good games and put them on a console that people are giving a shit about.
Yeah.
Look what they did with Mario Kart 8. It was genius. Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U was great. There was literally no problems with it. It was such a fun game. Yeah. And then they were just like, literally same game, upscale a little bit. And it was done for... like they had all the DLC with it. It was upscaled, and they sold 10 million more copies of it. You know what I mean? Like,
ridiculous, yeah.
It's insane. But the thing is, all of a sudden, that's when you start seeing new Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe and Tropical Freeze Deluxe and Smash Brothers Ultimate. Smash Brothers Ultimate seems like a new game though, just because it has like everybody in it. So I mean, it's a little different. But I'm give it a year, and Nintendo they'll need to have a game for a quarter that they don't, and they're like, shit. We don't have a game this quarter. What are we going to do? Hey, put Mario Galaxy HD Remaster. They'll make it happen. So
look, I'll tell you this right. Like, I might sound biased because I done one of the voices for the characters in the game. There's a game called Three Souls on Wii U, and it's honestly the best example of how the Wii U should work with the gamepad and with the TV, because it uses touchscreen, it uses mic, it uses gyro, everything in the controller. Mm-hmm. Like, even Nintendo couldn't fucking do that. It's true.
Yeah. I mean, again, like, that was the console that was just kind of weird and everything. Like, again, it was a weird time for them. But then I think the Switch was just 2.0. Like, when people saw the Wii U, they were like, the idea of taking that and moving around, people were like, cool, but then you move like 5 feet away from the Wii U and it just loses connection. You're just like,
but see, the problem was with the name, I think, as well. Like, if they had called it then Nintendo U or something, it would have been fine.
Right, but then when the Wii U, I remember like after that, I was watching like some press conference and people were like, is that just a controller for the Wii? Like, we don't know what this is. Like, they were confused and I mean, same thing with Xbox One when like they did that initial launch event and they were talking about TV and like all these things and people were like, is this still like games console? Like, or is this now an entertainment machine? Like, what is this? Like, people were when you screw up messaging, it kind of messes it up. So
yeah. But see, with the Wii U's problem, they showed the console, like in the background of the picture, like, and everything.
Right. Yeah, exactly. They weren't really very, very forward about what it was. So.
Yeah, I know, because the shape is nearly identical to the Wii, but as you know, it's like round on the sides. But they should have shown it better. But like, see, it was actually because of Ubisoft why I bought a Wii and a Wii U in the first place. Like, Red Steel for the Wii was amazing.
That was really cool.
That whole concept, turning your Wii remote for a gun. Holy shit, like. Yeah,
and then they added swords and stuff to it. Like, that was really cool.
And then, like, Zombie U.
Yep.
Running it in real time.
Yep.
With the gamepad. Like.
Yeah.
Like, fucking Nintendo couldn't do that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, now Nintendo's got their stuff to get figured out with the Switch now. They just have to figure out their online part, and we'll be all good.
Like, Nintendo had, like, a great example of getting bloody Pokemon, what is it? Pokemon Snap on 3DS or Wii U, but no, they couldn't do it.
Right.
Like, they could have released, something like that there.
Well, Snap, you can do, the best thing is if you just did Pokemon Snap on the mobile now.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, like, it's better having it on 3DS or Wii U because,
for the actual, the way the machine worked and everything, it would make it a little bit easier. But now, like, if they did a Pokemon game, they would just do it on AR and do Pokemon Snaps and what they did before. Like, that would actually, they could easily do that and make another hundreds of millions of dollars if they wanted to. They could sell add-ons for film. All the dumb shit. Like, they could do all that.
But they won't do it.
I won't. So, speaking of Nintendo, video games have brought you to what you do now. So, go ahead. Like, if people wanted to check out any of the stuff you do now on the internet, obviously you have a Nintendo show. Like, go ahead. Feel free to promote yourself. Where would they go check you out?
Yeah, so I guess if you want to, follow me, stalk me on YouTube or Twitter, whatever. Nintendo Impact Gaming, where I do like gameplay videos, first looks, exclusive content, unboxings, and a podcast show. Which I'm sure if you want to come on sometime, feel free.
I definitely would. Yeah, I mean, I'll have to wake up at 6:30 a.m. again, but we'll figure it out.
we'll figure it out sometime. But come, check me out. I'm so close to hitting 6K subscribers right now, so. I'm really trying to push it, but it's the channel. It's more kind of towards indie, kind of small, big, games like. Mm-hmm. But because I like to give the smaller companies a chance, to showcase their game. But yeah.
Absolutely. And if people want to check him out online, I'll have links in the show notes for all the above, so you can check out his YouTube channel where he has a ton of YouTube videos on the Switch and the Wii U, as I was checking out earlier. And of course, I'll have links in there for his Twitter as well. So, dude, thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you for sharing all of your stories with me, man. I really do appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it.
All right, and again, thank you, Barry, for being on the show. Guys, if you want to check out any of the cool things he does, go ahead and follow him on Twitter at Nin Impact Gaming. That's Nin Impact Gaming. Of course, he also has his YouTube channel, which you can check out at youtube.com/Nintendo Impact Gaming. Feel free to check him out there. He's so close to 6,000 subscribers, so hopefully some of you who are not already following him can check him out there as well. He's got a ton of stuff out there about basically everything Nintendo. You can check out a lot of the gameplay videos he has there as well. If you guys want to be on the show just like he was, go ahead and send me a tweet at MitchPower1116 on Twitter, or at the podcast Twitter page, which is at GUG Podcast on Twitter. We also, of course, have a Facebook group. Go ahead and search that up, Growing Up Gaming, as well as the website, gugpodcast.com. I mean, there's a lot of different avenues you can find the show and everything. So, again, thank you guys so much for returning every week. Hopefully you like the show and hit subscribe moving forward to get your new episodes each and every Tuesday. Leave me a review on iTunes. Share the show with buddies so that way we can get as many guests on the show. And I will catch you guys next week with another new episode. See ya.